Disney Plus signed up an amazing amount of subscribers. It's absolutely crazy. The market's reacted. My my options went and doubled themselves like they should. It's a good day whenever your options double in price. Welcome to HTBT. Oh, my cord fell. My name is Matt Williams. Thank you for listening to the show. We got such a big week ahead. I feel like we have a big week every week, but we're going to be talking with Keith Darrell, and we're talking about how important it is to have a good creation story. We're not going to do that on this show. We're going to do it live where you can join for free, and then that's probably going to go in club content. We have our book club coming up, Man of the House, C.R. Wiley. Make sure you pick that up. The links are below. We Reformed Jellicle we just had. It's just been absolutely a blessed, busy week. Busyness is good. I love being busy in the good ways. When a disaster happens, that's not good. But if you have any questions, comments, you can reach out to me, Matt at howtobuildatent.com. Find me on the social media sites, How to Build a Tent. I had an email reach out to me, a great listener that's been listening for years, asking me like why my style has changed from practical business advice to like modern day current issues. And honestly, the real reason is after 300 plus shows, I got to figure out how to keep talking about new stuff. I don't want to just repeat things over and over again. And the most efficient way I can do that while managing my other things that I'm doing in life is to just try to find current events that I can talk about principles that we can learn from business from those events and how we apply them to our lives, or we can find something that maybe a company didn't do that they should have done, or vice versa that they did that you should copy in your business, your startup, and things like that. And it also helps with getting new views to the show. When you're talking about something that's trending, you get more listeners. And we've grown to such a place now where we have people getting our attention and wanting to come on the show and advertise. And one of the cool things about business advertising too is they're going to be tools. They're going to be talking. A lot of it is tools for you to use and how to make you more successful. It's not just, hey, come waste your money on this, but these are going to be resources that you can use to better yourself. And I'm really excited about the sponsor that's going to be starting Monday. It's going to be, I think it's really exciting. I think it's the future of education in a lot of ways. So stay tuned for that. All right. So like I said, Disney Plus grew their subscriptions. It just came out. 10 million signups already. It's been days. 10 million signups. That is a power. So we talked about yesterday, $3 billion backing this. They got 10 million signups. For context, I believe Netflix has 60 million. 60 million. So they're already 1/6 of the way of Netflix. And they get it too, that bundling is the future, like we were talking about. First, Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN, it's $12.99. So they're trying to bundle the products they have to make it a more attractable product. So if you have the Netflix, you can get Disney Plus, and Hulu and ESPN for about $20. I think that's what Netflix is nowadays. But it's interesting too that I think the 10 million is a huge, strong sign for them. So I think they're going to be establishing themselves as the number 2 in the Netflix world. But what really got my attention, I wanted to initially talk about before all this news came out about Disney, is that they slapped a content warning of outdated culture depictions on their classic movies. What world are we living in that we have to have warnings and disclaimers on classic movies? It's like, first of all, can we just not understand that cultures change and that movies have different ways of talking and all of these different things? Can we just appreciate it for what it is? I mean, unless it's like straight up sin or hate or whatever, like, yeah, maybe don't watch those. But do we really need to put a disclaimer on Disney? I mean, maybe we should from a Christian perspective, but if you know what I'm talking about, from a culture perspective, you're so scared of the backlash that you're putting warnings on your animated movies. Come on now. And second of all, isn't it kind of insulting that you're just assuming, and I guess it's warranted. I shouldn't even say it's insulting. I was going to say, isn't it insulting that we can't figure that out? But you know what? They're right. There's no way that people aren't going to be offended by the content of Disney from their starting to now. And so I want to go back to this bundling thing for a second. I was thinking about this more. Apple is in the perfect position to capitalize on bundling and taking advantage of all of these different subscriptions, because they are, even though they don't want to be anymore, a platform company. And what they could do is, because you pay through their app, like when you build an app, and I believe it still works the same way for all the iTunes stuff on Apple TV, is you have to pay through iTunes and they take a percentage. Well, leaving aside the percentages they get that are crazy amounts and the deals they work out for that, they can see what you purchase. So when Apple comes out with their, or has come out with their streaming platform, they can bundle it without the other company's permission or knowledge, or I mean, they'll know, but without them having a stay in it whatsoever. And it can go like this. If you buy through our platform, Disney Plus or Netflix or wherever you are, if you buy it through us or you use it on Apple TV, you have an account, we'll discount it to 99 cents or we'll give it to you for free for a few months or whatever. And they can actually just do it on their own. And that is the benefit that they're going to have as a platform. Again, we're talking about omni-channel. This is kind of like an omni-channel digital, where you have the content producers with their platform and then you have Apple with the hardware. So that is an interesting thing. I wonder if Apple's going to take advantage of it. You would think that's like a Steve Jobs type would have already done it, but I just don't have the faith in the Cook like I do the Jobs. Jobs was definitely better than Cook, and Apple was better back then as well. I said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. 1,000 times. Speaking of Apple, Apple's post iPhone future got leaked. They are going to be coming out, guess it, what is it? Wearables, glasses, and some kind of helmet. And the helmet and the glasses are going to be, they're going to be AR and VR. That is augmented reality and virtual reality. Now, the difference between the two, and we should keep this in mind because we're going to hear more and more about this as it goes on, is augmented reality is where there is information blended into what you really see. And what it looks like these glasses are going to be, which are going to be in 2023, that's going to come after the helmet. The helmet's going to come a year before in 2022. So a couple years off still. But these glasses are going to have cameras. It's going to be weird. I don't know if this is going to work. They're going to have cameras where it's going to show you what is real and then overlay it with augmented reality information. So you could be looking at things and getting data and all that good stuff. But what would you do? Would you buy a pair of glasses that isn't see-through? They're cameras that are going to transpose or send you what the world's like and then overlay it with augmented reality. And it's going to somehow look cool. They're going to be able to pull that off. I don't know. Could you just imagine if those things glitch like the new iOS and the new operating platforms are? Oh my goodness, that can be a nightmare. And then before that, they're going to have the eye helmet as well. It's going to be interesting. It's been such a thing with these that people have tried them. It's been before their time. Eventually, it's going to work out, and eventually, it's going to be implemented. But it hasn't so far. So it will be interesting to see if Apple is going to be doing this. It was leaked. Who knows if it's intentional or not. A lot of times companies do that. I don't know if you know that. They will intentionally leak something to get press, to get hype, to build up anticipation for something. This is pretty far out, so I don't know if they would be leaking this strategy intentionally. Maybe it's just a disgruntled employee. Well, Instagram's got the reels. No, not the feels. They don't got the feels. They got the reels. They have introduced Reels. It's a copy of TikTok. They are trying to save their user base from going over to TikTok. Now, you may have heard of this strategy before. They did it with another company with stories. You remember that? That was Snapchat, right? Snapchat was the stories. And they copied them. See, it's not only China that copies people, but apparently it's Facebook and Instagram as well. And so they have come up with something called Reels, where you can do 15 seconds of music. 16-second music videos users make of themselves and then pop it into the Instagram stories. And this is starting in Brazil, but it's expected to roll out to the rest of the world really quickly. Now, interesting thing about TikTok, we've already talked about, there's 60 million people in the United States that are on this platform giving their data to the communist Chinese, which, oh man, I don't feel comfortable with that, because you know what they're doing. They're figuring out ways to use us and manipulate us, just like the Americans. But I guess to me, it feels a little safer not having the Communist Party doing it and having individual businesses do it. But maybe that's just like some, what is it? Just like kind of a weird thought of weird safety net. I think it's better for some reason, even though it's not. I don't know. But it's interesting that 60% of U.S. TikTokers, is that what they call them? Oh my goodness. 60% of U.S. TikTokers are under the age of 24. And they spend 52 minutes a day on TikTok. That is pretty interesting. That Generation Z under 24, 60% of the users are under 24, and that 52 minutes a day are spent on it. So Instagram is definitely making a move there, which is going to be interesting because, again, remember, there is an antitrust investigation going on between Instagram and Facebook has been saying that they think it's because they own Instagrammed, because of Instagram. And if they are going to be gaining users and doing this and taking other people's platform features, core functionalities, and building off of that, I wonder how that's going to play with those investigations and determine if they need to break up or not. So something very interesting to talk about. And just as I've been recording this, a new pop-up with the streaming service, which fits perfectly with the show. Netflix is in a deal with Nickelodeon. It says a deal is formed for a multi-year deal to produce original and animated feature films and television series based on both the Nickelodeon library of characters as well as all new IP. It's a very fascinating industry because it's so new and it disrupted such a big industry that there's it's war. It's not like Netflix was going to get away with it forever, but now there's the repercussions of what Netflix did, the disruption that they have. It's resettled, and now it seems to be disrupting again, and we're starting to see all these new partnerships take hold, which is a just fascinating thing. It's going to be interesting to see from a business perspective to see how that goes. Well, with that, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Keep on streaming. Get the reels, not the feels. We'll talk to you tomorrow. God bless.